Last episode, we talked about coin control. Coin control is choosing which coins your wallet spends. This episode is about what happens after that choice, because a Bitcoin payment usually does not end with one output. It often creates change, and change is where a lot of people get confused. In everyday life, change is simple. You hand someone a $20 bill for a $12 item, you get $8 back. Bitcoin has a similar idea, but the mechanics are different. Bitcoin does not spend part of a coin, it spends an output. If the output is bigger than the payment, the whole output gets consumed, and the leftover value comes back to you as a new output. That leftover output is the change output. In plain English, your wallet sends money to the recipient and sends the rest back to a new address it controls. That new piece is still yours, but it is not nothing. It has history, it has context, and it can matter later. Imagine you have one UTXO worth 1 million sats. You pay someone 300,000 sats. The wallet may create one output for the recipient and another output back to you for the leftover amount, minus fees. That second output is change. The important part is that the change may look like just another received coin in your wallet, but it came from a spend. It is the coin your wallet sent back to you. Here's a concrete version. You withdrew Bitcoin from an exchange into self-custody months ago. That withdrawal became one UTXO in your wallet. Later, you use part of that UTXO to make a payment. The wallet does not shave off only the exact amount like a bank ledger. It uses the selected output as an input. Then it builds a transaction with outputs. One output pays the other person. Another output sends the leftover value back to a fresh address in your wallet. That is why a block explorer may show two outputs even though you only thought you were making one payment. The second output is not a mysterious incoming payment. It is not a rebate. It is not new Bitcoin. It is your own leftover value, represented as a new spendable piece. If you do not understand that, you can make two mistakes. The first mistake is psychological. You may think, why did my wallet receive money after I paid someone? That can feel strange if you are used to bank accounts. But in Bitcoin, it is normal. The second mistake is privacy. If a transaction has two outputs, outside observers may try to guess which one was the payment and which one was change. They are not always right, but wallets, amounts, address types, timing, and later spending behavior can all leak clues. That is why change matters. It is not only the leftover value, it is a new piece of your wallet history. If you later spend that change output together with another coin, you may connect histories that were previously separate. For example, imagine you pay a public merchant from a coin that originally came from an exchange withdrawal. The wallet creates change and sends it back to you. Weeks later, you combine that change with a coin from a personal context. Now, the later transaction can create a relationship between those histories. Again, this is not the same as losing funds. It is not the same as revealing a private key. But Bitcoin is public. Transactions are permanent. And public transaction graphs invite pattern matching. Change is one of the patterns analysts look for. Sometimes they guess wrong. Sometimes wallet behavior makes guessing easier. The point is not to scare you. The point is to make the map visible. This is how a small payment can echo forward. The payment happens once, the change output can be spent later, and that later spend can accidentally reveal more than the original payment did. This is why the last 3 episodes fit together. Labels tell you what a coin is. Coin control helps you choose which coin to spend. Change outputs remind you that spending creates new coins too. If you only label incoming coins, you are missing half the story. You also need to understand the coins your own wallet creates after a payment. That does not mean you should panic. Change is normal. Good wallets handle it automatically. You do not need to manually create change addresses for ordinary wallet use. You do not need to memorize every internal address, but you do need the concept, because the concept changes how you read your wallet. A received coin is not always new income. It may be change. A new address is not always a new person. It may be your wallet protecting privacy. A leftover output is not free money. It is your own value coming back after the transaction spends a larger input. This is also why backups and wallet design matter. Modern wallets usually handle change addresses for you. Many deterministic wallets can recreate addresses from the wallet seed, but the user still needs to understand that the wallet may create new addresses internally. If you are using old wallet software, unusual backup procedures, or manual export habits, You should not assume every new address is obvious to future you. The safe beginner lesson is not to panic about change addresses. The safe lesson is to keep your wallet practices boring, current, and well documented without ever writing down secrets in ordinary notes. The beginner habit is simple. When you make a payment, look for the change. Ask, which output went to the recipient and which output came back to me? If your wallet labels change automatically, learn what that looks like. If your wallet lets you add notes, keep them boring and non-sensitive. Do not put seed words, private keys, or secrets into a note. Use simple context. Change from hardware wallet spend, change from merchant payment, change from consolidation, change from test transaction. That is enough to help future you. There is also a fee angle. Change outputs make transactions larger than a simple one output payment. More transaction data can mean more fees. Sometimes wallets avoid creating tiny change outputs because small leftover pieces can become uneconomical to spend later. That is another reason wallet coin selection matters. The wallet is not only choosing inputs for this payment, it is also shaping what your wallet looks like after the payment. That is the part most beginners miss. They think a transaction is only about the thing they are paying, but a transaction also updates the wallet's future. It decides whether you have one clean leftover output or several smaller pieces. It decides whether unrelated histories remain separate or become easier to connect. It decides whether future fees are likely to be simple or annoying. None of that means every user should become obsessive. Most people do not need to manually micromanage every output, but every serious holder should understand the shape of the system well enough to avoid the obvious mistakes. Do not reuse addresses casually. Do not merge sensitive context without a reason. Do not treat every incoming looking coin as new money. Do not write secrets into labels. And do not assume the wallet balance is the whole story. So the question is not only, how do I pay? The better question is, what does this payment leave behind? That is the change output mindset. The mistake is thinking Bitcoin is one balance moving up and down. The better model is a set of pieces. Some pieces arrive from other people. Some pieces come back from your own spending. Some pieces should stay separate. Some pieces can be combined later. Every spend changes the map. That map does not need to be scary. It needs to be legible. So here's the whole lesson in one sentence. Change is the coin your wallet sends back to you, and future privacy often depends on what you do with it next. Next episode, we bring this back to the simplest wallet habit in Bitcoin, address reuse, and why one address should not become your identity. This is Exit Velocity. Think in Bitcoin. Educational only, not financial, tax, legal, security, or privacy advice.